Hi everyone, I'm back. So we're in another period of time with the rink shut. So it's back to really focusing on our off ice. And of course, off ice is important all the time, but it's even more important when we have no on ice. So what I thought I'd do with the next set of series of little videos is to look at specific skills on ice that we might want to develop and improve, and look at some exercises that you can do at home that support the development of those. So I'm going to start off with the most simple of things, basic skating lines, the positions for our forward skating, backward skating, and look at some exercises that we can do to improve and enhance those, which will end in the skating lines themselves, but some other things that are going to develop it. So, basic skating, absolutely key. We need to have good posture, good alignment, good knee bend, and good extension. So, posture, knee bend, extension, key words that come up all the time. Okay, we need to create strong quads, good core control for our posture, for the knee bend, strong glutes to support us, and we need to look at our extensions and our pointed toes. So, very, very simple one to start. Just stand, ribs in, hips under, core engaged, so you've got a nice straight back, like pelvis tipped in. And we're just going to start by doing some very gentle, not even squats, just little gentle knee bends, really taking time to focus on knees bending directly over toes and the back staying strong. Okay, we can do these, so these are basically like demi-pliés, and we can do them in a neutral, and then we can turn out to a first position ballet, rotating in the hips, so the hips, front of the quad, knees, shins and toes are in line, and we can do these standing still, just in a first position. You could have a bar to your side that you could hold on to, okay, to balance it, so, or, you know, you could take a rail and practice, side of a chair, whatever. And again, just maintaining and thinking of, I describe it as going through a lift shaft. So we've got the lift shaft, leave ourselves in the middle of the lift shaft, and we can only bend straight down. We mustn't tilt forward into the shaft, and we can just take it. And just demi-pliés are fine here, because that's kind of the level that we're going to be at when we're pushing our basics on the ice. Okay, so the heels stay flat down for demi. And you can try in some other positions, a third position with the heel to instep, reflect some of our turns. Fifth is a little bit more turned out, a bit more like a chopped or whatever. We can do out on a second as well with the feet wide apart, which is prepping us for things like spread eagles, later on, but it's just generally working that core, that strength, that alignment, whilst getting the knee bend. Back to a neutral position. We should just do some little one-legged bends here. So we're bending and rising again, focusing on the knees bending over the toes, nice and simple, nice and straightforward. I will just grab. Of course, we can use our balance board, do the same thing, the 1 foot on the balance board, to add that work on the balance, the strength, which is so important, but still maintaining that strong position. Okay, when we come later to our skating lines, we can obviously do exactly the same there, keeping the core engaged. We should do some also basic, something that can really help us, just basic balancing, just strong foot with the posture nice and strong, with the leg out to the side, with it toe there, in basic lines. You can move it around, just basic balancing, keeping strong, keeping still. So we've got a nice straight line through, right, going through body from head right down our supporting leg, nice and strong, core engaged again. I like to think of it as a puppet being pulled up on the string. I can move that leg around, and again, if you want to make it a bit harder, you can do the same positions. Whoops, we get our balance back, nice and central. You can do the same positions on our balance board, moving through without the knee bend. And later we do the skating lines on the balance board. Okay, but the key thing is the core stays nice and strong. We're focusing on our balance. That's just prepping us for being able to hold our bodies well when we're doing our basic skating. It's also good to test your balance and shut your eyes. And it's suddenly a lot more tricky to do it with your eyes shut. So that's a good little one to play with. There. So we get our balance, shut the eyes, and it's a lot more difficult. You really notice it, you can feel all the little micro movements in your foot, and you can see that I'm definitely wobbling. So it makes you really aware, so that's a good one as well to play with. We do want to engage our core when we're skating. So we want to improve our basics. We actually need to strengthen our core. So some very simple little core exercises to start you off, even if you're very new to any kind of off-ice condition. We just lie on our back, raise our shoulders off the floor. These are not full sit-ups, we're just new little crunches. And we're just going to go and move our fingers towards the knees. You may not come up very high, but think of breathing out as you go up, and then as you collapse back. So it's and in, out, exhale as you go up, inhale as you go in. Feel the muscles in the abdominals and the back work. Feel them engage, nice and strong. You want those working. Okay, you can also just do some little side leans. These are only tiny tilts, so it's just waking these up and beginning to develop them. We're not looking for a really intense full sit-up, it's just enough to start to find these muscles and use them. So forward crunches, side crunches, just gentle ones. It's the start of a core training program. Keep the neck as relaxed as possible. Okay, you can take this a lot further, a lot more intense, but this is about basics and beginning. You should have your hair up when you're exercising, getting them right in the way. I've got a little list of things here. The next one, again, is a very simple core exercise. We're going to do a basic plank. So we're going to come onto the tummies, elbows by your side. We're going to just go onto our toes, stay with the elbows down on the mat, lift the belly up, ribs in, hips under, and then we can just keep it, the tummy pulled up, belly button pulled up into the back. Try not to stick the bottom in the air, and we can just hold it. Start with holding for, even if to begin with it's 15 seconds or something like that, just hold it for a little while. Aim for 30, aim for a little bit longer, but we're keeping the core engaged so that we're getting a nice straight back. We're developing the muscles we use for our posture. Sit here. Later on, we can, in future videos, I'm going to show you some developments as we start to explore some other positions for skating, but this is just a nice easy one to start with. I should have said with the crunches, 3 sets of 10, something like that, or even less to start with. Just start where you're at and build up gently and keep going. So we keep nice and strong here. Set the gaze forward. I know I'm looking back at the camera, but ideally nice and square, so shoulders in front of hips. So we're really focusing on that alignment. You want the quads to engage, and that's nice and strong. And you can hold it and hold it and hold it. I won't hold it for too much longer. Stretch out to child's pose if you need to relax your back after. You might need to. We should do some little PKs so that we're engaging the calf. So we go tap, 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 core strong, tap, tap. So it's just touching the floor and lifting up. We're focusing on lifting through the glute. Okay, so using our bottom to lift the leg to the side. Okay, so we're starting to again focus on staying over the supporting side, engaging the extension there of the leg. The calf muscle down the back is engaged, the quads engaged, the toes pointed. Okay, so we're getting those lines to the back, ribs in, hips under, try not to overarch there. Okay, and the same, forward, the other foot, and try not to make this too long, to the side, nice and strong, keeping the core, everything very still. Okay, and to the back, just lightly touching, trying not to put too much weight on. Down on the toe, shouldn't be really any weight on the toes touching, it's just tapping. We're staying down the supporting side. Good engagement, butt engage, quads engage, calf engage. Squats, bending down, knees, so pushing the bottom back, so you can feel the bottom working. knees staying back, so we're not leaning all the way over toes like we would on the ice, but we are working the quads. Do it 5 times, a couple of 5 done, and then hold for a count of 10, or 10 times and hold, build it up. Stick the bottom out so you're at a nice low angle there. Really building up the quads and at the bottom. We go again, keep the tummy engaged. Always good, great for a warm up as well. And down. These are developing the key muscles we use to push. And then hold. And sit there. Hold it longer and longer and longer as you get more comfortable with it, but this is the starting point. Okay, we'll do a forward fold to develop to stretch our hamstrings. So we roll down vertebrae by vertebrae, starting from the neck, peeling down, lower, 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 lower. A little bit of a bend in your knees so that they're not overly tight and you're not forcing them back, so you don't want them to be completely locked out, just a little soft. Feel yourself roll down, release at the hips. Flatten your foot down the hamstrings, we're getting the helping with the extension, with the back muscles, keeping us flexible. Hold it there. And we can roll up once we've held it again, unwrapping vertebrae by vertebrae and peeling off. You can do that a couple of times. Hip opener, because we need to turn out when we do our basic skating. So we're just going to open the door. So we lift our leg, lift the knee up and rotate out on the hip and tap and back. So it's like opening a gate. See if you can just release it. So this is a little bit, we've moved kind of from the strength to the flexibility area now. Lift and up. Again, focusing on keeping the core strong. It's so important. Okay, a few times. Up to 10 times on each leg, something like that. I'm trying not to make the video too long, but it's to give you some ideas. Okay, and then again another little hip opener, because we do want nice open hip positions to get good lines. We'll do some butterflies, so soles of the feet together, and we can just kind of gently bounce them. Knees out, shins out, rotated from the hips, and you can then gently hold, sit with the back up nice and straight. Body tall, and then there, and these are all good basic positions. Hold, and you can even, if you want to stretch your back out, you can lean a little bit forward and start to open that, so it's nice and easy. Final thing, skating lines themselves. So remember our 45-degree angles, feet at 0, supporting foot at 0, 180s directly behind, 90s to the side, we're working right down the 45. For a basic skating line, 45 for the turnout, 45 but the opposite 45 for the cross, and the leg in front but the toe pointed out to 45 when we're in our backward skating line. So we can do these. And again, we just bend and rise. This is our basic turns line. Knee over toe like we did in the forward bends earlier. Position with the hip, shoulders over hip, core engaged. Then we can take it out and extend along to our forward skating line. Lifting the leg through the use in the bottom, all the things we've already talked about. Turn into a circle, so 45 to the cross again, controlling the bend, everything aligned, and then to the front there. The only line I've missed is our crossover line, still working to the 45, so there's 0, 90, 45 to the supporting foot, and line in. We'll just do that as a step out. The other leg there, nice and strong, keeping everything still, turning out to the corner, upper body strong and still, lifting through the bottom, tucking behind, really extending so we get the posture, the knee bend and the extension all the way through to the toes. Good. One thing I did miss, we should warm up our toes by pointing and flexing, so doing some good toes, naughty toes type thing from baby ballet, but really articulating the feet and going all the way down and getting the nice high arches. Okay, so that we're getting that on the end of our position. We can move through lines, so from turns line to skating line to cross line to back turns, cross, back. You will have seen all these before, there's plenty of videos on them. Perfect. Oh, that was a bit quick. Try to actually hit the lines. I completely scuffed that. There you go, reach through, keeping still, again trying to keep your centre as strong as possible. And of course, if you have one, make it more difficult. Practice the balance board, whether it's just moving through or the lines in isolation, so that you're working on the positions and the strength you need, but you're also testing your balance, which you obviously need for the ice, and something you can do at home. Keep still, and you can really feel the centre of the board there, and it also really works. Oops, your quad. And that's. Alright everyone, that was my little introduction, things you can do at home to help your basic skating. Bye everyone, stay safe.